Welcome back, students. Let us start with the sixth chapter, part 2 of the 100 Dresses 2, written by Elbasor Estelle. In the previous class, we saw that Wenda had left the school. Her father had left a note to school saying that Wenda has moved to a bigger city and there no one would dare to make fun of her as she had funny name or tease her. The whole class was in a sentimental situation. Mary couldn't concentrate in her class. She continuously thought of Wenda, the times when they used to make fun of her. Maddie thought that it would be nice if they would go and meet Wenda and would be guilty and say sorry towards her, and even Peggy would join if Maddie would ask. She also asked Peggy to join her, and Peggy wanted to see if the girl had left the town. So they both went to Wenda's house. Let us see if they found her or not. In the previous class, we ended by saying that they knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer, and they went around the whole house. Again, there was no answer. Let us continue. There was no doubt about it. The Petronskis were gone. How could they ever make amends? They turned slowly and made their way back down the hill. So now what happened here is they came to know for sure the Petronskis had left the town. And here, to make amends means to show that one is sorry by doing something good. So they turned back to go to their home. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she's gone now. So what can we do? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawings. She might not even have won the contest otherwise. So Peggy is trying to console herself by saying that she had helped Wenda when she was asking her about the dresses, and Wenda was getting her ideas through Peggy's questions. So she's also saying that Wenda wouldn't have won the contest if she would have not asked her about the dress. Mary turned the idea carefully over in her head, for if there were anything in it, she would not have to feel so badly. But that night she could not get to sleep. She thought about Wenda and a faded blue dress and the little house she had lived in. And she thought of the glowing pictures those 100 dresses made all lined up in the classroom. At last, Mary sat up in the bed and pressed her forehead tight in her hands and really thought. This was the hardest thinking she had ever done. After a long time, she reached an important conclusion. So here we can come to know that Mary was seriously thinking about Wenda. She couldn't concentrate on anything else. She couldn't even sleep. She was thinking about Wenda, how she wore that faded blue dress, and even the little house where she lived in. She also constantly thought about the glowing dresses which she had painted and which was lined up in the classroom. She couldn't sleep and she started taking a decision. Now let us see what decision she took. She said that she was never going to stand by and say nothing again. If she ever heard anybody picking on someone because they were funny looking or because they had strange names, she would speak up, even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship. She had no way of making things right with Wenda, but from now on, she would never make anybody else that unhappy again. So here you can see that Maddie made a decision to help people who are getting bullied. She is saying that even if it is worth of losing Peggy's friendship, she would stand up and speak up for the person who is getting bullied if they had funny name or they were funny looking. She thought that she couldn't make anything right with Wenda, but from now on she would never make anybody unhappy. On Saturday, Mary spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wenda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wenda she had won. So here you can see the guilty conscience of the two kids, of Mary and Peggy, Through that, they wanted to write a letter to Vanda telling about the contest, and she wanted to know that Vanda had won the prize. They told her how pretty her drawings were, and they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter. The kind they would have written to any good friend, and they signed it with lots of X's for love. They mailed the letter to Boggins Heights, writing "Please forward" on the envelope. So here they wrote a letter. They wanted to say sorry, but it turned out to be a friendly letter to any friend they would have wrote to. And they also wrote or signed in the letter with lots of X's love. They didn't write their name, and they mailed it to Boggins Heights, and from there they wrote "Please forward." Days passed and there was no answer, but the letter did not come back. So maybe Vanda had received it. Perhaps she was so hurt and angry she was not going to answer. You could not blame her. So as days passed by, there was no answer. Even the mail didn't come back. So Vanda may have received the letter, but she didn't write them back because she was very hurt and she was very angry, and no one could blame Vanda for it. Weeks went by and still Vanda did not answer. Peggy had begun to forget the whole business, and Maddie put herself to sleep at night making speeches about Vanda, defending her from great cowards of girls who were trying to tease her with, "How many dresses have you got?" And before Vanda could press her lips together in a tight line the way she did before answering, Mary would cry out, "Stop!" Then everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to feel. So Peggy started forgetting the whole business of what about Vanda, and Maddie tried to sleep at night. But she always used to recite a speech. She used to think that Vanda would come, and then she would save Vanda from the people who are bullying her, and the other people would have felt ashamed. Now it was Christmas time and there was snow on the ground, Christmas bells and small tree decorated in the class. On the last day of school before the holidays, the teacher showed the class a letter she had received that morning. So now they're talking about the Christmas time. There was snow all around on the ground. There was decorations in the classroom, a small tree and Christmas bells. And it was the last day of the school before the holidays. And teacher came to class and showed them the letter which they had received that morning. You remember Vanda Petronsky, the gifted little artist who won the drawing contest? Well, she has written me and I'm glad to know where she lives because now I can send her medal. I want to read her letter to you. Now here you can see that the teacher started saying that she had received a letter from Vanda Petronsky, and she reminds them about the dressing or drawing competition which had held, and she had won the prize. And she was very happy and glad to get the letter from her, as she could send the prize or the medal to the girl. The class sat up with a sudden interest and listened intently. So the class was all aroused and they were listening to the teacher very carefully. The letter goes in this way. Dear Miss Mason, how are you and room 13? Please tell the girls they can keep those 100 dresses, because in my new house I have 100 new ones, all lined up in my closet. I would like the girl Peggy to have the drawing of the green dress with the red trimming, and her friend Maddie to have the blue one. For Christmas I miss that school and my new teacher does not equalize with you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody, yours truly, Vanda Petronsky. So the letter goes in this way by asking them about or inquiring them about their class. She tells the girls to keep the dresses for themselves, and she specifies that the green dress with the red trimming is for Peggy and the blue one was for Maddie. And she tells them she misses the school and the new teacher doesn't equalize to Miss Mason. And she wishes everyone Merry Christmas. On the way home from school, Maddie and Peggy held their drawings very carefully. All the houses had wreaths and holly in the windows. Outside the grocery store, hundreds of Christmas trees were stacked, and in the window, candy peppermint stick and cornucopias of shiny transparent paper was strung. The air smelled like Christmas, and light shining everywhere reflected different colors on the snow. Now here you can see that there was lot of decorations, celebrations of Christmas going on in the houses and on the streets. Everything was smelling like Christmas, and even the lights were shining and it was reflecting different colors in the snow. Boy, said Peggy, this shows she really likes us. It shows she got our letter, and this is her way of saying that everything's alright, and that's that. So Peggy, with an astonishment, she says boy. Boy means a phrase. This shows she really likes us. She wants to convey that she likes Peggy and that she wrote the letter in such a way to say that everything was alright. I hope so, said Maddie sadly. She felt sad because she knew she would never see the little tight-lipped Polish girl again and couldn't ever really make things right between them. So, as Peggy was telling Maddie that everything is alright, Maddie says that she hopes so that everything is alright, and she was feeling very bad because she couldn't make anything right with Venda. She went home and she pinned her drawing over a torn place in the pink flat wallpaper in the bedroom. The shabby room came alive from the brilliancy of the colors. Maddie sat down on her bed and looked at the drawing. She had stood by and said nothing, but Venda had been nice to her anyways. So here, Maddie is telling that Maddie hung the picture on the wallpaper where she had in her bedroom, and she started looking at the drawing. And she said that even if Maddie didn't say anything, Venda was nice to her. Tears blurred her eyes and she gazed for a long time at the picture. Then hastily she rubbed her eyes and studied it intently. The colors in the dress were so vivid that she had scarcely noticed the face and head of the drawing. But it looked like her, Maddie. It really looked like her own mouth. Why it really looked like her own self? Venda had really drawn this for her exactly. She ran over to Peggy's. Now here you can see how emotional Maddie was on getting the picture. She looked at it and she saw that the colors of the dress were so vivid, means so clear, that she didn't notice the face and the head of the drawing. As she intently looked at the face, she realized that the picture had her face. The dress which was worn by the picture was Maddie. She ran to Peggy. Peg, she said, let me see your picture. What's the matter? Asked Peggy as they clattered up to her room where Venda's drawing was lying face down on the bed. Maddie carefully raised it. Look, she drew you. That's you, she exclaimed, and the head and the face of the picture did look like Peggy. So what Venda did is, she drew Peggy and Maddie. For each picture she had drawn different people, and the dresses were exactly for them. The picture in the dress was exactly for Maddie and Peggy. What did I say? Said Peggy. She must have really liked us anyway. So here Peggy said to Maddie that Venda had really liked them. Yes, she must have, agreed Maddie, and she blinked away the tears that came every time she thought of Venda standing alone in that sunny spot in the schoolyard, looking stolidly over at the group of laughing girls after she had walked off, after she had said, sure, 100 of them all lined up. So here, after Peggy says that maybe Venda had liked them, and after Maddie agreed, she thought of Venda and she cleared her tears, where she remembered how Venda used to stay in that sunny spot of the schoolyard and where the girls used to make fun of her And after she replies, she goes and the girls looked at her from there. And her reply was, sure, 100 of them all lined up in my closet. So this was a chapter of the 100 dresses part 2. So in the class we saw that how Maddie was thinking again and again about Venda, that she couldn't even go to sleep. She wanted to make clear thing right between Venda and herself. And on the Christmas Eve, they got a letter from Venda saying that they could keep the dresses picture with themselves, and she asked Peggy to take the green with the red trimmings and Maddie to keep the blue one. Maddie, looking at the picture with tears in her eyes, she realized that the picture was exactly for her, as she had seen the face and the head and it looked like her, and she went and asked Peggy to show the picture, and they even found that even Peggy's picture had Peg's face. So in this way they realized that Venda actually had really liked them. So this is how the chapter ends. So thank you for listening and have a nice day.